You know, there comes a time in life when you stop chasing time and you start listening to it. I'm 86 years old. Name's Harold Jensen. And if you've got a few minutes, I'd like to tell you something that's been sitting heavy on my chest for a while now. We were all sitting on my porch the other evening. Me, George, Eddie, and Thomas. Old friends, older bones, but still sharp enough to remember what matters. The sky was melting into one of those golden sunsets, the kind that makes everything look softer, kinder. George leans in. He's still got that old cigar behind his ear he never lights anymore. Doctor's orders. He asks me, "Harold, you ever wonder what really makes us old? Not the years, the heaviness." And I told him, "Yeah, I do. Not a day goes by I don't think about it." Because here's the truth. People don't grow old just because they age. They grow old because of the habits they carry. So let me share with you 5 of the worst habits I've seen. The ones that steal your youth long before your hair turns gray. And I'll tell you how to break 'em, too. Stick with me, all right? This might just change the way you look at the rest of your life. Habit 1. Carrying bitterness like a badge. There was a man I knew. His name was Walter. Worked the same job for 40 years. Loved his wife, raised good kids. He should have been one of the happiest men alive. But he wasn't. Because for 50 years, he never forgave his brother. They had a fight back in 1963. Something small, a broken promise about a piece of land. Petty stuff. But Walter, he let it grow inside him. He wore that bitterness like a badge, kept it polished, close to his chest. And over time, it showed. Not just in his face, but in his voice. His laugh disappeared. His shoulders hunched lower every year. You see, bitterness doesn't scream. It sinks you. Slow, steady, silent. Now, I loved Walter, but I'll tell you this. He looked 20 years older than he really was. Not because of the clock, but because of the weight he chose to carry. So how do you break that habit? You forgive. Not for them, for you. You write the letter. You make the call. You whisper it to the sky if you have to. But you let go. Because the moment you forgive, even if no one else knows, you take back a piece of your soul. And suddenly, you feel lighter. You stand a little straighter. And the years, they don't press down as hard. Let go of what's already gone. That's how you stay young. You still with me? Good. Because that's just the first one. And it's only going to get deeper from here. Habit 2. Forgetting to move when stillness becomes a cage. Now, let's talk about the second habit. It's one I see more than any other, and it sneaks up on people. It's the habit of stillness, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that slowly becomes a cage. I had a neighbor once. Her name was Ellen. Back in the day, she was a whirlwind. She'd dance on her porch barefoot when the Beatles came on the radio. She'd garden, bake, chase her grandkids around the backyard. But somewhere along the line, she stopped moving. At first it was the knees, then the back. Then she started saying things like, "I'm too old for that," or "My body just isn't what it used to be." I get it. Pain is real, limits are real. But the lie she believed was that stillness would protect her. Instead, it took her. Her muscles faded. Her posture curled in. Her mind, once so sharp, got foggy. Her days became smaller and smaller. She told me once, "Harold, I feel like I'm fading." And she was. Because the body and the mind were built to move, even if it's just a little, even if it's just walking to the window, even if it's just standing up and sitting back down. You stop moving, and life starts moving on without you. You want to feel younger? Then move like you still have somewhere to be. Doesn't matter if it's a walk down the hall. Doesn't matter if you stretch your arms while waiting for your tea to boil. Just move. Break the stillness. Remind your body that you're still here and that you're not done yet. I stretch every morning. I walk the porch. I raise my arms to the sky even when they ache. Because movement is a message, a declaration. It says, I'm still alive, and I still matter. So don't wait. Start now. Your future self will thank you. All right, my friend. That's 2. Now take a breath. We're just getting to the heart of it. Habit 3. Speaking harshly to yourself. The voice that ages you. Now here's the third one. And if I'm being honest, this one, it nearly got me too. It's not a habit you can see in the mirror, not right away. It's quieter, meaner. It's the voice inside your head. You know the one I mean, the voice that whispers, "You're too slow now. You've let yourself go. You should have done more with your life. You're just old." That voice will age you faster than time ever could. There was a time, maybe 10 years back, when I caught myself saying things like, "You're useless now, Harold," or "No one needs you anymore." I'd retired. My kids were grown. My wife, God rest her soul, was gone. And the silence was loud, louder than I expected. I started believing that I didn't matter anymore, that I was just taking up space. And that belief, it drained me, faster than any sickness ever did. It showed in my eyes, in the way I stopped fixing my hair, in the way I started avoiding the mirror. And then one day, my granddaughter, 6 years old at the time, she crawled into my lap and said, "Grandpa, your smile makes my heart happy." Just like that, one sentence, and I realized the voice in my head had been lying to me, lying for years. So I made a decision. I started talking back to it. Every time it said, "You're too old," I said, "No, I'm still here." When it said, "You're forgotten," I said, "Someone out there is still watching me." And when it said, "You're done," I said, "I've still got stories to tell." And you know what? Little by little, I stood up straighter, looked people in the eye again, laughed louder. Because when your inner voice is kind, you shine on the outside too. So if you're listening to this, please be gentle with yourself. Speak the way you'd speak to someone you love. You deserve it. Every wrinkle, every scar, every breath, it's proof you've lived, not a reason to feel shame. That's 3. You ready for the 4th? It's the one most folks try to ignore, but not today. Let's keep going. Habit 4. Neglecting connection, the loneliness that wears you down. Now this one might be the heaviest of them all. Habit number 4 is neglecting connection. letting yourself drift too far from the people who love you. I've seen loneliness take more years off a person's life than bad knees or high blood pressure ever could. Let me tell you about my old friend Joe. Joe was the kind of guy who used to host the neighborhood barbecues. His house was always the loudest one on the block, laughter spilling out the windows, grandkids running through the sprinklers, music playing on an old record player in the garage. But when his wife passed, something in Joe shut down. At first, we gave him space, figured he needed time to grieve. But days turned into weeks, weeks into months. He stopped answering the phone, stopped coming to church, stopped opening the blinds. And the longer he stayed in that silence, the older he looked. His eyes dimmed, his shoulders curved in like he was folding into himself. And when I finally convinced him to sit on my porch with me again, he broke down. He said, "Harold, I thought if I stayed away, the pain would hurt less. But now I feel like I disappeared. You see, we're not made to live in silence. We're made for connection, to laugh, to cry, to sit in comfortable quiet with someone who knows your name." And here's the part that hurts most. Sometimes it's not that people don't care. It's that we stop reaching out because we think we're a burden. Let me say this clearly. You are not a burden. You are a story. You are a memory in motion. You are someone's favorite voice. If you've been pulling away, call someone. Send a message. Wave to your neighbor. Sit on the porch and say hello. Even if your voice trembles, even if they don't answer back, because connection doesn't just keep you company, it keeps you alive. Every moment you spend with someone who sees you, that's a moment your spirit stretches its legs. So break the habit of isolation, not just for them, but for you. That's 4. And the last one? The last one might be the most surprising of all. But you've come this far with me. Let's finish this together. Habit 5. Losing curiosity. When you stop asking, what's next? Now, here we are. The 5th and final habit. And I'll be honest with you, this one, it sneaks in the quietest. It's the habit of losing curiosity, of no longer asking, what's next for me? It happens slowly. First, you stop learning new things. Then you stop trying new things. And before you know it, you start believing the best parts of life are behind you. I know, because it happened to me. There was a season, a few years after retirement, when I stopped being interested in anything new. I'd seen the same movies, read the same papers, ate the same food, sat in the same chair day after day. And I told myself, that's just how it is now. But deep down, I wasn't living. I was just waiting for something to change, without realizing that I was the one holding the keys. And then one afternoon, Thomas, my friend on the porch, brought me a paintbrush and a set of cheap watercolors. He said, "Try something new, old man." And I laughed so hard I almost dropped my tea. But that night, I painted. A mess of colors, sloppy, wild, uneven, but it was mine. And for the first time in years, I felt young again. You see, curiosity is life's fuel. When you stop wondering, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start shrinking. Not just in the body, but in the soul. So take the class, read the book, plant the seeds, ask questions, make something with your hands, make something with your heart. Because the moment you become curious again, you stop counting the years and start living the days. That's it, my friend. 5 habits, 5 weights we carry without realizing it. But every single one you can put down right now. You are never too old to forgive, to move, to speak kindly to yourself, to connect, or to be curious about what's next. You are still becoming. You are still unfolding. And if anything I've shared today has touched you, if it reminded you of someone you love, or helped you feel a little lighter, then do something small but meaningful. Click the like button on this video. It lets us know this message reached you. And if you want to hear more stories like this from an old heart who still believes in the beauty of living, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel. It's called Wisdom Through Time, and it's made just for you, because we're not done yet, not by a long shot. Thank you for listening. And remember, every day is a gift, and so are you.